up this hour? Nothing. We'll make fun of the guy from Fort Wayne. We have one of our affiliates here.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like he's about the size of Aretha Franklin the other night. Did you see Aretha? The only thing Aretha Franklin needed was a chairlift. God, that woman. Poor thing.
Somebody to pull the harpoons out of her butt.
Oh, my God. Anyway, well, there's a lot going on.
Disgusting.
And,
like Space Mountain. Is that what you said she looked?
Yeah. Let's go to Jaleel from Boston.
Not good.
Who was an enormously annoying fan of mine, but who was nevertheless very persistent, and here he is now on line one. Good morning, Jaleel.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
How you doing, baby?
Good, how are you?
All right.
I know how to use a compass, but I don't need to, since you said that I don't have $150,000, so I guess I am out on that point.
Well, you're also blind, aren't you?
Yes, but I still know how to use the compass.
I don't think it's going to do you much good, Jaleel. I mean, it's between you and me, baby.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have $150,000 to survive for.
Well, okay.
But today is Bob Schieffer's birthday, 66 years old. Happy birthday, Bob Schieffer. I love Bob Schieffer.
Yeah, I do too.
By the way, Mr. Imus, Paul Harvey did a little piece on Dan Rather when he was in Kuwait. It's about 1 minute piece. Would you like to hear it?
No.
I think you would like it.
All right, play it.
Okay.
12 years ago in Fort Worth, Texas, a car thief named Tamarsh Thompson tried to steal a car belonging to a newsman named Dan Rather. Instead of pressing charges, Dan Rather gave the car thief a lecture on the price that we pay for the choices that we make and let him go. Recently, Dan Rather was in Kuwait covering news for CBS when an American pilot introduced himself, an Army Chief Warrant Officer, an Apache helicopter pilot named Tamarsh Thompson. He sought out Dan Rather to thank him for the advice. Our United...
How do you like that?
Well, it's fine.
Very moving. Come on.
Oh, yeah, it's just... Thanks, Jaleel.
Master Chuck, didn't you like it?
On line three, here's Darlene from Connecticut.
Nice story, Jaleel.
That's great, Jaleel. Good morning, Darlene.
No, it's Doreen.
Well, whatever. What do you want?
Whatever.
What the hell do you want?
If you listen to the last tape of Bin Laden, you'll figure out that he's buried under the towers there in New York. Because on that tape, he says he's going to martyr himself and die in the belly of the eagle.
Man, you are crazier than a loon, lady.
Oh, I am?
Oh, Jesus, God. You are just a complete, total whack job. I'm sure you mean well, but... Well, take care of yourself.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Jesus,
Some chemistry there, I think.
What a nut. I felt a little, oh, sweet old lady. I mean, I don't want to be mean to her, but... Jesus.
I think I know where Hitler's bones are as well.
Here's Chuck with the news. Good morning, Charles.
In a move that could set the stage for war, I-Man, the U.S. and Britain are proposing this second resolution on Iraq at the UN, and U.S. Ambassador to the UN, John Negroponte, said Iraq continues to be defiant.
The requirements placed on Iraq were clear, and unfortunately, what we have seen is more of the same. No truth, no real cooperation, and most importantly, no real disarmament.
Right.
Council's not expected to vote on it till after Chief UN Weapons Inspector Hans Blix delivers his next update on March 7. The new proposed resolution says Iraq has failed to disarm again as in further material breach, in breach of Resolution 1441, which was approved late last year, offering Iraq a last chance to fully disclose its weapons and mass destruction programs. President Bush calls this an interesting moment for the UN, one that will say a lot about the organization's relevance. Saddam Hussein has reportedly challenged President Bush to an internationally televised debate.
Shut up.
White House spokesman Harry Fleischer says the debate offer is not a serious issue.
Well, apparently this was Saddam.
Could be, but one wonders if he really could have thought that there would be an accepted challenge.
Well,
if he's alive, he is in Afghanistan. To the last caller, I-Man. At least that's what Pakistani President Pervez Musharraf is saying about Osama bin Laden. Musharraf says he's fully convinced that Osama cannot be in Pakistan. He says bin Laden would not be able to elude Pakistani troops patrolling the border with Afghanistan. Musharraf says he disagrees with an FBI assessment that al-Qaeda remains a major threat to the United States. He says the terror group's members are on the run and are dispersed.
You ever watch Hannity and Combs?
Sure. I've watched it. Yeah.
You like them?
Yes, I do. Like them both. Like Sean, and I've always loved, like Alan Combs.
Yeah, I like Alan Combs.
For years.
I like Sean Hannity, too.
Yes.
Yep. This is a
Like the show.
This is something new.
But he's a total dope.
But you like him.
I do. I like him a lot. I think, you know what I like about him? He's very sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Very passionate.
He's very passionate.
Yes, he is.
He's very earnest, but
Likeable.
very likable.
Yep.
A very decent American. I'm a Sean Hannity. But, man, there is just not a lot going on there.
Really?
I mean, there's not much difference between Sean Hannity and Fred Durst, frankly.
Now, how so?
I don't know.
How can you rise to the where Sean has risen and be that stupid?
He's not stupid.
No, hardly. He's got a best-selling book on the New York Times bestseller list.
Well, wrestlers have best-selling books.
All right. In fact, the Iron Man had a best-selling book.
Well, two, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So, come on. But no, I don't know. It just seems like it's...
A little misguided on the war. A little hawkish.
Well, I don't know what I mean.
No room for anybody else to be wrong.
You know what? Why can't I just simply say, which is what I should say, that I like Sean Hannity?
Mm-hmm.
Without adding that.
Come on, just leave it alone.
That's it.
What's the point? He doesn't need my analysis of his intellect anyway. I like him, and I like Alan Combs.
We do a good show, a stimulating show.
Let's just leave it at that and move on. Just these gratuitous attacks of people.
Well, yeah,
they're tedious.
They seem to be contradictory.
Yeah,
I
a little bit.
I like Sean Hannity. He's a total dope.
I didn't say he's a total dope.
Well, what did you say?
It just doesn't seem like there's just a lot there, you know. But what is there?
You like. You find
Yes.
likable.
I think he's a very nice guy. I can see why people like him.
Stand up, upright, decent family man.
Decent, good person.
Very
It's like
decent.
straight out of the
Yeah.
50s.
I just don't want to find out, by the way, that he's not.
That there's something.
Yeah, I don't want him getting, he's becoming pretty successful now.
Right.
I don't want him running off with some intern from...
Getting caught in a motel with Laurie Dew.
Exactly.
Show tunes.
Yes, I don't want that happening either. Alan Combs, we already know where he's coming from.
Oh, absolutely.
Alan Combs is liable to be caught in an elevator or a motel room with almost anybody.
Oh, certainly.
Wearing a bullet bra.
Everybody from Marv Albert to Harvey Firestein.
No problem.
Live and dead dominatrixes.
What else going on, Chuck?
There has been a shooting rampage in Huntsville, Alabama. Police say a gunman shot 5 people this morning at a local business and killed 3 of them. They say the other 2 victims suffered critical injuries. The shootings happened at a temporary employment agency called Labor Ready. Police are on the scene. No word on whether they've arrested this gunman. A Huntsville television station reports 2 of the victims were father and son. This morning in Huntsville, Alabama. And Secretary of State Colin Powell is describing as fairly innocuous and not surprising this missile test by the North Koreans, talking about a North Korean missile test that took place just hours before South Korea's new president was inaugurated. They're making a statement, obviously. Powell tells reporters in Seoul that the U.S. had heard the test was about to take place. It was announced by South Korea's defense ministry. South Korean and U.S. officials say the rocket fired into the Sea of Japan was a small, short-range missile, not the ballistic type that U.S. officials say could reach the western United States.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take off this Cartier watch that I bought with the 2 time zones on it.
Yeah.
And start wearing my new Swiss Army watch with the compass.
Yeah.
Well, you think that's a wise idea?
Well, given the current climate, I don't think it's unwise at all.
Right. So that I can be prepared fully
to know which direction to run.
Now, Lori's, our traffic lady,
Yeah.
her husband, who is this shoe-bombing nitwit, what's his name? Yusuf Habib.
Youssef?
Yusuf Habib.
Right.
He claims, and this is really unbelievable, according to the lawyer, that he can get us night vision binoculars.
Well, okay, produce.
Well, no. But
What?
what? Why should he be able to get them?
Isn't that his business? He's a physicist.
I think
he
that's-
makes.
yeah.
Well, no, this guy is one shoelace from being a shoe bomber.
Oh, I see your point. Well,
Because his name is Habib.
Yeah.
Then let's call Tom Ridge.
and we have a shoe bomber with night vision goggles, Mr. Ridge.
I mean, I think that,
Mhm.
I mean, Bo Dietl should be coming up with the night vision goggles, not, Yusef. That's not
Something ain't right.
We remain ready to help the people of North Korea out of their distress, but it has to begin with an honest dialogue that does not sweep things under the carpet or hide the reality that they have been trying to develop nuclear weapons despite their promises not to.
Hello, KRLA.
I'm 16. I know there's people saying that if we pull out of Vietnam, it'll stop the killing, but it won't. If we pull out of Vietnam, there'll be more killing than ever because the South Vietnamese won't be able to defend themselves. Remember, running away from a problem doesn't solve anything.
In the morning. I want you to imagine you're in your office.
So you can hear me. There. I want to be able to dive back under there at a moment's notice because I'm at my wit's end trying to figure out what security boy wants me to do next to defend myself against all the Islamic, let's nail Americans nuts to the wall bunch. And as far as I can tell, diving under the bed is about as cutting edge in the preparedness arena as our government can figure out for us. In the meantime, I've got to rip down all this duct tape and crap that I stuck all over everything about 15 minutes ago. Because now, Mr. Defend Yourself and the gang who couldn't fortify straight says alert level duct tape is now passé and has been replaced with what? Alert level Scotch tape desktop dispenser strip, as Don Imus proposed on his radio program the other day? No, Tom Terrific's new How I Learned to Love Armageddon directive says shove the duct tape and saran wrap crap and include in your revised disaster kit, let's see, 3 days worth of water, 3 days of food, and 3 days worth of, for God's sake, look at this. This disaster list is a disaster. There's 150 things on here. What am I going to do with all this junk? I'm telling you, Al-Qaeda better attack. Well, let me start ticking this stuff off. Pocket bag, check. My 53-piece first aid pouch, check. My radiation pills, 14-day pack, okay. My 16-in-1 multifunction tool. I got a multifunction tool for you. Flashlight, poncho, solar blanket, yep. My 4-in-1 whistle compass. Jeez, what next? My super SpongeBob Jupiter decoder ring, for Christ's sakes. Oh, you gotta love this. All of this stuff is being done, says Calm Tom, in the name of making us feel better. Right. Tom's new government website, under a subheading, What Might Happen, only tells us about biological threat, chemical threat, nuclear blast threat, radiation threat, and your plain old garden variety explosion threat. You know, the kind that leaves those buses in Israel looking like melted jungle gyms. Gee, I feel really relaxed now. What, me worry? Speaking of that, did you catch the slogan of Tom's new campaign? Here it is. Don't be afraid, be ready. One individual, one family, one community at a time. Is that a comfort message? Or is that the order in which we're going to get blown up? One individual, one family, one community at a time. Sorry, Tom. Call me the cynic, but I don't feel one bit better. One senior counterterrorism official compared all of this to an idiot light going off in your car. It alerts you, even if you don't know exactly where the problem is. Oh, I think I do. The light is on Tom's desk, and he is the idiot. Excuse me. I have to go wrap my house in dental floss.
Yeah.
Well, 27 after the hour here, Andy Rooney with, well, it's just
Unfortunate.
unfortunate.
Yes.
Thoughts on whatever. So. Bob called, Bob Selmy, you know, the Autobody Express call.
Yes.
He's got a great idea.
What now?
Well, an Imus Ranch Foods Homeland Security Survival Package.
Say that again.
An Imus Ranch Foods
Yeah,
Homeland Security Survival Package.
absolutely. And by the way, you have to have one.
2 jars of Fred Imus Southwest salsa, 2 bags of Fred Imus stir-fried buffalo tortilla chips, 2 bags of Imus Brothers coffee and 2 Imus Brothers coffee mugs, $49.57.
An essential disaster shelter.
Not to take advantage of this situation.
Not at all. Not at all.
Except that 100% of the after-tax profits for all Imus Ranch food products goes to the Imus Cattle Ranch for Kids with Cancer. So you can order this stuff at 1-800-272-1957 or go to the Auto Body Express website.
Question.
Yeah.
Would that provide the Tom Ridge required 3 days worth of essential items? What do you think?
Probably not.
There you go.
Well,
you need 2 of them.
Well, no, I think you just start with this, and you're going to have other...
What, and run out?
Well, it's not going to be the only thing you have to eat.
I understand.
Yeah. Oh.
3 days water, 3 days non-perishable foods, which all of that represents.
So I watched, I don't know why I woke up and I watched Jimmy Kimmel last night. I watched Nightline, actually, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Chris Berry was filling in for Ted. Man, he's great.
He's terrific.
Chris Berry. Really good. Anyway. And they had a segment on these Marines out in the field there in Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the same Grundig crank radio that we have in our survival kit.
That's how serious we are.
That Grundig sent us.
There you go.
Now, I'm looking at a pair of now night vision binoculars from ITT Industries.
Right.
That Dick downloaded from the internet.
Love Dick.
Night Mariner 220s, they're $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's as good as you get with that technology.
But I guess they're... Well, these look like they're designed for some sort of boat navigation of some sort.
Any kind of navigation.
Right.
And it's hands-free, quick adjustment, hands-free or can be handheld.
Sure.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Great item.
And so we're putting together this Imus and Wayne survival kit, and we'll get a little better organized with it since we get all of the items. But we of course, need something to put it in, all of it, to get away.
To get out of town, you bet.
And I got a letter here today from McDermott Hummer up there in East Haven, Connecticut. And they want to contribute a Hummer 1. That's the big one with all the stuff in it. They want to contribute it to the Imus Ranch for Kids with Cancer, but we don't need it there. So,
no.
But we need it here.
Absolutely.
So I thought we would do, and they even suggested this, that we take it and we fill it with all of our survival gear, and then auction it off during the radiothon.
Beautiful.
And give the money to the ranch, the kids, at the TCF and the CJ Foundation for SID. So the Hummer 1 itself retails for $117,000. So
yeah.
And all this other equipment. I mean, by the time we get done stocking with all our stuff, it'll be around $150,000 package.
I would think.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And and you'll be ready for whatever.
And you will be safe, assuming you can get to your vehicle from wherever you are when the attack comes. So that's going to be a
with
problem.
our escape hoods, I would think you would be able. The orange escape hood that you modeled yesterday?
Oh, we got from Bo Dietl, yeah.
Sure.
So you got to have those with you at all times. Right?
That should be something you carry in a purse or briefcase or your shoulder bag, whatever. Yeah. Well, ready to rip that mama open and slam her on, hop in your Hummer. Capable of climbing a 22-inch vertical wall or going through up to 30 inches of water. You're going to get out of town.
Yeah, so you're not going to have to really...
That's it.
So we'll need to put this together and auction it off.
Sure. Unless it, regrettably, would have to be pressed into service prior to the auction date, which we don't anticipate at all.
No, but we are at a terror alert high, so...
Certainly. Condition orange, baby.
It's got to mean something.
Sure does.
I have a mansion for getting a price. Ain't never been there, they tell me it's nice. I live in hotels, tear out the walls. I have accountants pay for it all. They say I'm crazy, but I have a good time.
choices. We have all...
Greg is here. It's coming up next.
There's a new wind blowing like I've never known. I'm breathing deeper than I've ever done, and it sure feels good to finally feel the way I do. Now I wanna love somebody like you. I used to run in circles, going nowhere fast. I'd take one step forward, end up two steps back. Couldn't walk a straight line, even if I wanted to. I wanna love somebody like you. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand, but you're teaching me to be a better man. I don't want to take this life for granted like I used to do. No, I want to love somebody like you. Amos in the morning.
He's party, I'll tell you that. 21 delay hour here in the Amos Morning program. Friendly Motors up in Wappingers Falls, New York. At 134 Old Post Road. Easy to get to off exit 13. And the people at McDermott Hummer up in East Haven, Connecticut have offered up a Hummer H1, which is
there you go,
military-style Hummers, about 120 grand. But I didn't even know that, of course, we haven't heard from Austro because obviously he doesn't care whether we survive or not. Let's see if the terrorists make the payments on that S600, Mike.
How about the Mercedes-Benz Daimler Chrysler AG Unimog? UNIMOG, unsurpassed off-road capability. It comes in camo color, camouflage.
Oh, that son of a bitch. Why didn't he...
I have no idea, man. It's troubling.
Oh, that crook.
Here, look.
Let me see that.
Excuse me.
Move your mic. I can't see it.
Damn it. Look at that. Look at that, baby. Maybe you think that wouldn't get you out of town.
Well, I don't know if I like it as well as I like the Hummer.
Good-looking car.
Is it?
Truck or vehicle.
What is it?
It's a thing. It goes.
What's that in the back there?
Oh, it's pulling like a
Hummer. It's pulling a Hummer out of the mud.
It's pulling a Hummer out of a ditch. No, that's not. That's another military vehicle from Daimler Chrysler. By gosh.
Well,
there you go.
Here's Sid Rosenberg with Sports. Morning, Sid.
Hi, man. There's a picture, by the way, on page 67 of the New York Post that would put an end to the heterosexual AIDS epidemic in about 5 minutes. It's Justine Henin Hardin, Jennifer Capriati, Amelia Marismo, Martina Navratilova, and Monica Seles, dressed up in some type of, I guess, Indian garb at the Dubai Open. Now, you've seen this picture today.
Yeah.
Is that not one of the scariest things you've ever seen in your life?
Troubling.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. By the way, big night tonight at Madison Square Garden. Yao Ming is going to be there talking about big nights. Houston Rockets taking on the New York Knicks. Told you earlier today that Yao Ming having all kinds of hotel problems today in New York City. They can't find a bed to fit this guy. They actually had to take a king-size bed and bring in another bed to put next to it, just so he could fit.
They put it at the end.
The end, yeah.
They put a single at the end of
his king-size bed.
In order so his feet wouldn't hang off.
Exactly. And they put a chair in his shower because he can't stand and take a shower. So he has to sit down in the chair to shower before tonight's game against the Knicks.
Wow, he must be over 7 feet tall, huh?
That's a good call. That's a pretty good call, Bernie, yeah.
Now I got it.
It's almost 8 feet tall, actually. Yao Ming. That is your guy, I-Man.
No, that is not my guy.
Well, you were just so impressed with the way he played against Shaquille O'Neal a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, he ate Shaquille's lunch.
He really didn't. No.
Well, whatever.
It's not the way it went.
Well, he acquitted himself pretty well.
Maybe he did that.
Who won the game?
Yeah. Who
that
won
night?
the game?
Yeah. Well, no, that night. No, not that night. Next July. Yes, that night.
I think the Rockets won that night.
I'll rest my case.
All right. I've told you before, by the way, that Steve Francis scored 44 points for the Rockets that night and hit a 3-point shot to put the game into overtime.
You don't get it. We've been through this 12 times already.
I don't know how to explain it.
But I don't understand.
The intangibles, the leadership shown by this man, the assists.
Exactly. The block of the
picks, the intimidation.
Thank you.
The fear factor, the inspiration.
Everything.
Come on. All of it.
How do you think Steve Francis got free to pour in 44? Because Yao Ming had everybody else occupied.
You think so?
They were so terrified of what he was going to do.
Really? So you've put Yao Ming in a class already that very few are in. Is it fair to say that?
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell? And that's it?
Yeah.
Say no more.
Well, Bill Russell, in my mind, is the greatest basketball player who ever lived.
Oh, really?
Well, better than Jordan and better than anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny because I just heard Mike Francesa say that yesterday at about 3:30.
Did he really?
You weren't listening, were you?
No, I wasn't.
No, I don't know if he said that. He actually thinks Will Chamberlain, or Oscar Robertson, maybe. One of those two guys.
Yeah.
But talking about great players...
Mike's a moron.
Francesa?
Yeah.
No. He's the greatest. He had Sigourney Weaver on the show yesterday.
Great.
You know what Sigourney Weaver is?
What?
Yeah, the big Amazon-looking actress.
Washed-up old actress.
Yeah. What was she on for?
She's actually at Mets spring training yesterday.
How many darn?
She's doing a movie with some firemen about September 11th, and they were there raising some money. It's a very good cause, and Mike had her on the show, and it was very entertaining radio.
Good.
Dog's out for the week, so Mike's on his own. Mm-hmm. So Mike, by the way, will be Thursday at Nassau Coliseum for the Big Islander game, and Friday he'll be solo at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, God, please, give me some sports. Nobody cares.
Patrick Ewing, Friday night.
They can't hear it around the country, and you're talking about stuff that nobody cares about. Get to the point. Give me some sports.
Are you telling me nobody cares about Patrick Ewing on Friday night?
No, not around the country. They don't. No.
Larry Bird's going to be there. Charles Barkley's going to be there.
I don't. Just don't persist. Give me some other sports, some scum stuff, or get out. One of the two. Of any of those three.
I gave you the Nelly story before, didn't I?
Okay. What else?
You want a Diana Ross story? Will that work for you?
Yes.
You know that she just got a rehab. She was arrested. She was, drinking and driving and had a tough time with the alphabet. Turns out that after the Grammy Awards on Sunday night at 2 o'clock in the morning, Diana Ross was spotted with a clear drink and a lime, screaming, "I'm going to party." And she was hanging out drinking with Faith Hill, Kid Rock, Cyndi Lauper, and Missy Elliott. So she didn't learn her lesson, I guess.
What, a black woman can't have a drink with a bunch of celebrities?
Oh, no, she's just out of rehab about 2 weeks. Funny, you know how the alphabet went last time when Diana Ross was stopped by the cops?
Well, C-A-W.
X, 5, 7. Can you say the alphabet backwards?
No.
No, I can't either.
You can't say the alphabet backwards?
No. I'd have to think about it too long.
Oh, yeah, no. You just can't do it off the top of your head.
Right.
That's right. No. I think that's very difficult. No. Did you like Art Garfunkel and Paul Simon on Sunday night?
No. Stay off the stage.
They haven't. They're both my age, you know. But they haven't aged well.
No, especially.
They don't look good.
Art Garfunkel looks awful.
I mean, they
look a little weathered.
They both look bad.
Yeah.
They don't look healthy, or they don't look.
Don't look good. No.
They don't look good.
They almost killed each other, the Sunday afternoon during the sound check. They came very close, not even performing together on Sunday night. It was the first time in 10 years they actually performed together, and they were awfully close, not even getting that done. That's how much they fought all day Sunday during their sound checks.
They did?
Oh, they were killing each other back and forth. Garfunkel was accusing Simon of, it's your show, it's your songs, you don't want to let me get involved. Simon was like, that's ridiculous, we're here to do this together. And it got to the point where they were yelling and screaming. They actually thought it would not go off on Sunday night.
How do you know this?
It's in the paper.
It's in the paper.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
Yep.
Page 6. Yeah. And I had this argument yesterday with talking about Mike Francesa and Eddie Scazzeri and the rest of the guys in the newsroom, because I never thought they were very good.
Well, it wasn't on page 6. It had the who shall remain unnamed.
Who?
Baseball pitcher being a double order of fruit salad and then had to apologize for it. Right?
Well, you don't want me to name the pitcher?
No, I don't.
Well, it was a retraction.
We already know what the story was.
We do know what the story is.
My only point was that they were wrong about that. Mm-hmm. So how do we know they weren't wrong about Simon and Garfunkel?
Oh, wait a second. Just because somebody makes a retraction, does that mean that they were wrong, or does that mean that they're just folding under the pressure from the media and everybody else? Is that possible? That even though they may have been right in the first place, they don't want to deal with it?
No. They admitted they were wrong.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I got to be honest.
Go read the retraction.
Well, I understand, but I've heard things before that I'm not sure why they made a retraction.
You're a fruit.
This March, Radio Shack is giving you an easy layup. A chance to win a trip for two to the Big Easy, home of the big game, and a winning deal.
UFAN, your home for the Mike and the Mad Dog program, weekdays 1 until 6:30.
Hey, hon.
Information and consultation. before the hour after the
They
hour.
called him the preppy.
Officers are going to get killed, and a number of other things. What does someone want to mention? Well, Charles, let's do this. We're going to talk to Jay Barbary. I was watching a NASA briefing yesterday on C-SPAN, and they were running it on the House channel, you know, the C-SPAN 1 or 2, whatever it is.
Yes, right.
Well, then the House is back in session, so then we had to go back to that. And then I couldn't find any place on the satellite where they had where I could watch the NASA briefing, so that's Jay Barbary's going to be on, and he'll have some stuff, and we'll talk about that. And then,
Yep, there have been some developments.
and we have getting our survival kit together.
Yep.
And I would just say this, and Charles, do a little news. I would just say this: if you send something to us for our survival kit, of which we're going to combine it all together, by the way, put it in this vehicle, either this Hummer or I haven't got a hold of Ostro yet from the Mercedes guy. They have some vehicle and a scam from them. Then we're going to auction it off during the radiothon to raise money for these little nutheads with cancer, and then you'll have a survival kit, but it's also instructive. If you want to, you know, do as we're going to do and assemble your own kit. And you don't have to spend $150,000, obviously. So, but anyway, if you don't complain because you don't think, because it's like some sponsors who contributed money to the ranch, they were more concerned with how many times I was going to mention them and whether their logo was going to be on MSNBC or not, or whether I was going to talk about it on the radio, than they were in helping little children with cancer, which is a source of irritation. But you either want the money or you don't. But I still make any deals. So it's like Reader's Digest has given me over $1 million for the ranch, and they just get killed because I got sucked into buying that stupid stock of theirs. And what happened? The day I bought it, it went down 10 points.
Sir, yeah.
And I don't even check anymore to see what it's. I'm so irritated with Tom Ritter and those people up there, and where in the hell they are. And their big headquarters up here, Reader's Digest.
Yeah.
I just, if I had time, I'd drive up there and beat the hell out of them.
Sure. Just to whip them.
But
yeah.
So you don't buy any. You don't get cut any slack simply because you contribute money to, say, the ranch. For example, I got a call yesterday from somebody from Unilever. Unilever sponsors the general stores, but it's a Unilever general store at the ranch. So, whining about me disparaging Lipton tea when I read the Bigelow tea commercial.
Yeah. You don't get a fun pass here.
You're better off if you just don't say anything, because chances are it was just a passing rim shot, and I probably wouldn't hammer Lipton again.
Right.
But now I'll never let up on it.
Right, but I mean, in other words, it would work out.
Let me explain. I want you to listen if you're from Unilever, and you make Lipton tea. Listen very carefully.
Here we go.
The reason I talked about Lipton tea during the Bigelow tea commercial is because Bigelow tea is better. It's fresher. It's better tea. Shut up. A lot of people will probably buy your Lipton tea who are not aware of Bigelow. But once they're aware of Bigelow, then nobody will buy it. So don't call and complain. Because here's what's happened.
Yeah. Well, here's what's happened right now.
This is what's happened.
This is the serious consequence.
And nothing. I probably wouldn't have ever said anything about it again.
Not another word.
Now I won't shut up about it.
Ever.
There's Chuck with a little news, and we'll go to Jay Barbary.
Headlines quickly. Early morning fire, Hartford, Connecticut nursing home, Greenwood Health Center, this place. 10 people dead, 20 people hospitalized, 5 of them in critical condition. More than 100 people were evacuated. Fire people say it was extremely difficult because many of the patients at the Greenwood Health Center, Hartford, Connecticut, were bedridden or confined to wheelchairs. Known death toll once again 10. Members of the rock group Great White expected to testify before a grand jury today. 2 band members have flown back to Rhode Island, where 97 people died in the nightclub fire. And Great White's guitarist among those killed. Grand jury convening today as that investigation goes on.
And those 2 brothers, the Darian brothers, one of them a TV reporter up there, at least according to the state's attorney general, and others are not cooperating with them. That's hello.
Attorney General Patrick Lynch has not yet subpoenaed either brother, but his annoyance with their refusals to fully cooperate with his office has grown clear. That according to the New York Times this morning, quoting Mr. Lynch saying that Jeff Dudarian has not answered any questions since the fire was still burning, and Michael Dudarian who left Rhode Island over the weekend, spoke by phone to an investigator, but according to Mr. Lynch, refused to answer any questions.
Why?
Well, grand jury convening today to try to get to the bottom of it. The band says it received permission from the Didarians to use pyrotechnics. They say no permission was given. So that's the clash of positions right now.
I mean, I understand there may be some. Obviously, there's some legal ramifications.
Oh, sure.
But
yeah,
you would think they'd just want to tell everything they knew about what happened.
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
You would think.
So it makes you think they did something wrong, doesn't it?
It makes you.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
That's the whole thing.
There's culpability.
They don't want to incriminate themselves any further, and they got to, the financial liabilities, criminal. These guys are screwed, and they know it.
Got to step up in this particular. 97 people dead. Come on.
Interestingly, Jeffrey Pine, a former Rhode Island Attorney General, well-known lawyer, political figure, has confirmed he's agreed to represent Jeff and Michael Didarian. And he says he's satisfied that they bore no responsibility for the fire.
Well, he's defending them.
Sure.
12 minutes after the hour here from NBC News. It's Jay Barbary. Good morning, Jay. How are you?
Good morning, Imus. How are you, sir?
Good. I was watching the NASA briefing.
You do feel confidence was...
And then that pipsqueak, Andrew Hayward, actually had the temerity and the arrogance to refuse to put anybody on to rebut all of this because Rather didn't have the guts to put anybody on to rebut this from the administration other than President Bush, which is just so hideously insulting and inappropriate. You can't even almost respond to it. And then for Rather to sit there and breathlessly try to establish what the parameters would be for some sort of presidential debate between Saddam Hussein and President Bush is insane. I mean, it's fine if Saddam Hussein wants to suggest that, you say, well, that'll be nice. I hope you can arrange that.
Let's move on.
Not where are you going to do it and who would be the moderator and, how would we... where would you be? Or would you come to the UN? Or you'd be in Europe? Let's see. Just so I understand this. I mean, it should have been conducted by Nancy O'Dell not to disparage her, but she'd have done a better job, actually.
Probably.
God, it was, and then as Howard Feynman pointed out, which I didn't even think of, but here's how dishonest and disingenuous and phony Rather is, and what a Ramsey Clark anti-American suck-up, is that at one point he makes a big, and they had a chance to edit this tape, by the way, once it was given to him by the Iraqis. Rather makes a big deal out of Saddam Hussein interrupting his interpreter to correct his interpreter to insist that the interpreter refer to George Herbert Walker Bush, President Bush 41, as Mr. Bush, without, as Howard Feynman points out, at that point saying, well, isn't this the same guy you tried to assassinate?
Mm-hmm.
And then even worse than that, or certainly as bad, about 10 minutes later, here's how phony Rather is. About 10 minutes later, then Saddam Hussein is referring to Bush the father, and just referring to him as Bush and not Mr. Bush. Well, it's a minor point, I understand, but if you're going to make a big deal out of the fact that Saddam Hussein interrupted his interpreter to insist that he calls him Mr. Bush, then you've got to point out when the murderer and thief and thug doesn't refer to him as Mr. Bush that he did that. I mean, oh God, it was so disgraceful. It was repulsive.
He didn't have to swallow on camera. There's a way to do it without.
And here is a guy who, when he interviewed, speaking of President Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, when Rather interviewed him on television, he picked a fight with him. It's fine if you want to ask tough questions. He picked a fight with George Bush. And he went over to Baghdad and kissed Saddam's ass for an hour or 3 hours, apparently. No, that's disgraceful. He's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. And Andrew Hayward is an arrogant little twerp. Twerp, whatever.
Yeah. That means we'll be going to the CBS Christmas party this year?
That's what we work for. We don't work for CBS, we work for Viacom, but anything to do with that. But Sumner and Mel must just be livid.
Well, it is sweeps month.
Well,
see how the ratings do.
But the reason that BICOM's not in any trouble is because we have people around there who have some integrity. So, anyway, here's David Gregory from the White House. Before we talk to Mr. Gregory, we have a tape of Mr. Gregory at the White House press briefing yesterday. Let me listen to that.
Democracy and liberation for the Iraqi people. I mean, he doesn't really believe that it's going to be the sort of democracy that exists here in America, does it?
Tune in tonight. The president has very strong...
Wait a second. Why do the American people have to wait until a speech before the American Enterprise Institute? Why can't you just answer the question? We're not talking about organic democracy the way it exists here, right? Because if that were the case, then maybe there would be...
If I answer your question, are you going to go to the speech? I want you to still attend the speech tonight, David.
Both places.
I hope. At the same time.
Well, you see, here's the problem. When we take information from that big, stupid, Bigfoot Bowman, that moron, I thought that was an altercation. That's what it was described to me as. That was just a friendly exchange. It was good of Gregory to press him like that.
It was a little bit contentious.
Well, no, it wasn't.
Well, slightly.
Gregory should have interviewed Saddam Hussein.
Amen.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Now, here he is now, the White House correspondent, one of them, along with Campbell Brown. I noticed that you and Campbell, I know, are the primary White House correspondents, but there's like several, aren't there?
Yeah, we have Jeannie Ohm has been with us for MSNBC. We've got a lot going on, so we need a lot of troops, you know.
People for the weekend, right?
Yep, that's right.
Because Campbell has their little dinner parties, and what do? You feed Max or something, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, how are you?
I'm fine. How about that Robert Blake interview last night?
I did not see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was an astonishing night of television. I mean, if you could watch, if you could have a bunch of screens up, the last night of sweeps, you got Saddam Hussein, you got Robert Blake, who at one point is talking to his daughter directly to the camera. You have this guy Chambers on. I mean, it was just it was a surreal night, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Maybe not. Let's just move on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Rather interview was disgraceful. I mean, on so many levels that it's not just me, it's respected journalists who are saying that. I mean, it was a disgrace. So, wasn't it?
I am really not in a place to wade in on this.
What's the latest from the White House?
Well, you heard the president's speech last night, which was a concerted attempt to answer critics who say he hasn't told us enough about what occupation would look like, what the risks would be, and what the vision would be beyond that. I think, as you talked about this morning, this speech was much more for an international audience than it was really even for the American public. I think the emphasis on the Israeli-Palestinian question, and beyond that, the emphasis on putting pressure on Israel, as you heard, the key line was, as there's progress toward peace, if there's progress toward peace, that all new settlement activity would have to stop. I mean, this is the critical line, because this is what all of the Arab partners have demanded of the administration. They've demanded two things. If you go into Iraq, that you remove Saddam Hussein this time and don't leave him around, because that creates tremendous problems for countries like Jordan. But that the administration also make a concerted effort to really resolve the Israeli-Palestinian problem.
When you were questioning Ari Fleischer, you were just trying to cause trouble, because you know, and I know, even I know, and certainly you know, that the administration and the president, they don't expect to establish a democracy in Iraq that mirrors the one we have here in America, and you know that. So you were just asking that question to cause problems, weren't you?
Well, I think we do need to ask. We do need to get them to answer exactly what the vision is, because true blue democracy in that part of the world would take on a form that would be very threatening to the United States. That would be the case in Saudi Arabia. That would be a case in Jordan. It would be the case in Egypt.
Oh, I understand that, but we all know that that's not what they have in mind, don't we?
Well, I think in their vision, they see it at some point taking root. I think they do believe that it can take root, but I think what they're not saying is that from the outset, I mean, if they really believed that, then you'd have a Kurdish state, you'd have the Shias getting their own state, and they're committing themselves to Iraq whole and free the way it is now.
I think what they mean, at least I infer from what they're suggesting, is that they mean that the people will not be brutal. When they talk about creating a democracy in these various countries around the world, this whole thing is laughable. But anyway, when they do, what I think they mean is that the people will stop They'll stop torturing and murdering the people.
Oh, I think that's right.
They'll let them vote, and they can all get these Yugos, or the hell they're selling, these Kias, or the hell they're selling now, and that's pretty much it.
And they'll get a regime that is friendlier toward the West. Yeah, you're right.
But not, that they're going to get to go on a vacation to the Grand Canyon and have 401ks. I mean, wake up here. Let me ask you this. Now, that's a serious question.
Yep.
Would you have interviewed Saddam Hussein, given the opportunity?
Sure.
Would you have tried to kill him?
No. I was there. There may be some practical considerations to getting out alive.
Yeah. Well, I know. I wouldn't get myself in that position, of course not.
Okay.
I don't want anything to do with it.
It's not working out, son.
No. Look,
you can't make it up.
Thanks, David. David Gregory on the I'm Still Winning program.
You gonna kill all these people or just can't make it up?
Along with Campbell Brown, the White House correspondent for NBC News. It's 16 after the hour.
Bitch, boy, motherfucker. You ain't have them 11-year-old groupies believing your but you ain't fooling nobody, bitch. Little radio. You a motherfucking bitch. Suck my You ain't never shot at us with no paintball. Bitch, weak ass. Yo, club, you ever chased anybody out of was a game on, bitch. That little radio with your preppy smile. Got everybody hopping out on 35 miles telling us we fake little faggot back. I'ma knock your teeth out the back of your neck. You might have little girls crying but the Detroit Thugs ain't buying No, run your ass back to Dr. Drain, open your butt. Little goofy ass boy, get Sissy ass radio bitch. Oh, look at us, dog. Who put us on the map? 3 black, 2 gold, and we still like that. We did it alone without a D.R. report. Buddy don't do it, does the boss like a husband. Tell me where she at. Everybody be that bitch. You don't see that? You told the world you're gonna kill the slut. Then you watch TV licking her butt. I remember your ass St. Andrews Hall handing out your flyers.
Someone, come on, come to my show.
I looked at it. What right there? St. Clown Posse might show up. I could have just you up right there, but I let it pass. I felt bad for your bitch ass. Every time I met you, you're sucking. Now you're on the pop chart sucking. You'll be sucking for eternity. Look at your mouth. It looks like a Top 40 pussy rap bitch. Mainstream pretty boy bitch. Sucker ass motherfucker. Hitler ass haircut. Bitch ass motherfucker. Boy band ass. Top 40 Casey Kasem. Carson Daly Dixon.
I'm us in the morning. Okay, repeat after me. 99.
99.
Now when I'm Lori McNichol for the Westchester BMW Fan Highway Patrol.
23 after the hour here on the I'm Still Winning program. Mark comes rushing in the studio. Our program director says we're getting complaints from around the country from our affiliates for our Insane Clown Posse bumpers. The Insane Clown Posse has responded to the diss forwarded them by Eminem. Yeah. And they rushed this out because they were worried that Eminem would fall off the map by, next week, and that no one would get the joke then. So instead they decided to hurry up and release the song before all of the teeny boppers went on to, quote, Vince Gill, the next big thing. Mm-hmm. But I said, well, are we getting any complaints from the West Coast radio affiliates? And then, of course, I realized that we're on tape delay out there. Yeah. So they'll get to complain later. Well, I don't know what the complaints are from the Insane Clown Posse bumpers. I mean,
how many times can you say bitch?
I mean,
bitch.
I understand the content, but
unnecessary. How about playing a little Pat Boone?
I mean, it's just so absurd that we would even be dealing with this.
Maybe go up easy.
On one hand, we would talk to Howard Fineman and John McCain, and on the other, we would play a rebuttal from the Insane Clown Posse to a diss by Eminem. I mean, hello.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of the program.
And it is, right, to quote my friend Esther Newberg, eclectic. Mm-hmm. Here's our little friend Janice Dean with the Scum Report. Good morning, Janice.
You call it.
Hi.
How you doing, baby?
Doing okay.
Do you have your mic on?
I do, but I'm not. Oh, there we go. Not as loud as Sid.
Still at Sid's setting, actually.
Yeah. Apparently, you can be arrested for kiddie porn and still have a #1 album on the charts. The Hollywood Reporter says that with more than 500,000 copies sold, R. Kelly's Chocolate Factory LP debuted at the top of Billboard album charts, knocking off rap artist 50 Cent from the #1 position.
50 Cent. 50 Cent, not 50 Cent. That's what I
feel strange saying 50 Cent.
You understand?
Yeah, you got to lower yourself to their level.
Yes, exactly.
You want to be cool.
Okay.
50 Cent.
50 Cent.
I want you to sound like the moron that I am. If that's possible. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can. Probably not. But
Just drink a bottle of vodka and,
50 cent.
see if you can say it. A couple of Valium.
See if you can say it. 50 cent.
50 cents.
Okay, there you go.
Or
No,
maybe we
not
could get-
cents. Just cent.
Cent.
Yeah, no cents.
50 cents.
50 cent.
But you can't really pronounce it.
Yo, yo, yo.
You got to go over the T almost. Like 50 cent.
50 cent.
Okay, this is pathetic now.
Okay.
It is embarrassing.
According to the Daily News, Russia Malloy, die-hard actor Bruce Willis is
You know they're
seriously-
married?
They are married.
Russian Malloy.
Wow.
I thought they were two men.
They are. They're two boys.
No, they're not.
Oh, he's trying to just, jive.
No, they're not.
Rush and Malloy are boys.
No, they're not.
It's a female. One of them is a female. If you
Oh,
look
really?
at the Daily News
No,
website,
no,
you can
they're
see
married.
I thought
their
but
pictures.
I thought they were guys. I thought they were two guys.
Well, they may be, but one of them wears a dress or something. I know both of them. They're very nice people, by the way.
They're good with the scum gossip.
They're great.
So apparently Bruce Willis
I
is...
think they contributed money to the ranch. In fact, I'm sure they did. Oh. Well, as you know, that doesn't get anybody any slack cut, but unfortunately, we're getting more money from these. Right, we're getting more money from either Unilever or whomever. Anyway, go ahead, Janice.
Well, I'll try to get the real story on whether or not they're married.
They are married.
Okay, I believe you.
I know them.
There's
They're
the real
married.
story. Well, Bruce Willis is apparently seriously considering joining the U.S. Armed Forces.
Right.
Willis says, I thought about signing up, but my friends told me I was too old. So what does he do? Calls the White House and asks President Bush, what can I do? George W. apparently agreed with Willis's friends and said the star was a little too crusty to head into combat. And apparently...
I saw Bruce Willis the other night being interviewed by somebody talking about his relationship. How about they use him as a
With Dummy Moore?
Yeah, with Dummy Moore, and he says, I don't know.
They're divorced.
I understand that, but they have children.
But they're still friends.
Yeah, but it's, he's...
I have a suggestion. They could use him as an artillery shell. It's all the favor.
He means well, I know, but he's...
Well, because these actors, they actually think because he's in a movie.
He's another one of these lame-ass, and I can't even use the language that my friend George Carlin did. The guy's appearing at the House of Blues, which should be... George Carlin said that if white people are allowed to burn down black churches, then black people ought to be able to burn down the House of Blues. That's from George Carlin, and he was pointing out all of these lame-ass white movie stars who want to have blues bands.
Yeah. Well, Bruce Willis supposedly is a very good harmonica player. Supposedly.
He doesn't sing that badly either.
Oh, God. Please.
Terrible.
It plays the mouth organ.
It was always so easy to find an unhappy woman till I started looking for mine. Imus in the morning.
The following conversation is real. It took place...
Around and buy the best tea and then seal it in a Stay Fresh 4-pack. When you fire it up in your tea thing there, it'd be yummy.
You ain't gonna be disappointed.
No, good morning, Charles.
Good morning, I-Man. Well, against the backdrop of everything going around with Iraq, there's the other problem. South Korea's prime minister says his country will work with the United States to resolve the nuclear standoff with North Korea. His announcement coming after sources in Washington disclosed that the North has escalated things a little bit further and has actually restarted a nuclear reactor. The U.S. officials say the 5-megawatt facility could represent a first step toward producing more nuclear weapons, since it is believed that Pyongyang is in possession of perhaps 1 or 2 nuclear weapons right now. The South's prime minister says at this time he can't confirm that the plant is actually back online, but he says he agrees with South Korea's new president, who says North Korea's nuclear program represents, and this is his quote, a grave threat to peace in the Korean Peninsula and the rest of the world. There are fresh signs today, meantime, that Saddam Hussein is putting Iraq on a war footing. He's ordered all Iraqis to dig trenches in their yards as protection against U.S. bombs, and heavily armed police have taken up positions, purportedly, in the streets of Baghdad. Iraq's government news agency says militant groups of clerics and tribesmen are being organized to fight what is described as the invaders. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff says U.S. forces are ready for any scenario in a possible war. General Richard Myers says if Saddam were to use chemical or biological weaponry, it would be a very significant event, but he tells NBC's Today Show that Allied troops are trained to protect themselves against such attacks and fight through them. Myers is also warning the Iraqi people not to help Saddam if he decides to set oil fields on fire or blow up infrastructure, dams, other sites as a battle strategy. Myers says any U.S.-led military action is meant to liberate the Iraqi people and give them a better life. He also says if Saddam decides to use human shields, it would be a war crime. He says while Allied forces would try their best to protect civilians, in that sort of a circumstance, safety could not be guaranteed. President Bush said last night a regime change in Iraq will be an example of freedom to other nations in the Middle East. In a speech to the American Enterprise Institute, the president outlined his vision of a post-Saddam Iraq and its potential impact on other nations in that area.
A liberated Iraq can show the power of freedom to transform that vital region by bringing hope and progress into the lives of millions.
Mr. Bush also said rebuilding Iraq would require a sustained effort by the United States and other nations. He told a national television audience, we will remain in Iraq as long as necessary and not one day more.
So the boy got him digging trenches in the front yard?
Yeah.
Or the backyard?
I think, well, now, you know something that's interesting. Just digging trenches in their yards, it is not specified, I-Man, if it's front or back. Maybe both.
Right.
Because you never know, you know.
How deep are we supposed to dig these trenches?
Pretty darn deep, I would think. What would you say? 5 feet?
Well, I mean, it's the whole...
Takes a long time to dig up.
Yeah, but the idea is just so preposterous that you can't even almost respond to it, can you?
I don't think so.
What else?
In his exclusive interview with CBS anchor Dan Rather, Saddam said his country will not back down from any aggression that any country launches against it.
If there is a law in the world that says the stronger ones get their way...
Just shut up.
We don't need that.
We're not going to run it here.
The White House is criticizing CBS, saying the network rejected an offer for the administration to rebut comments made in the interview. CBS says it was open to providing a forum for a top Bush administration official, but initially just wanted the president alone. Later amended that, said, well, we would take Vice President Cheney or Secretary of State Colin Powell. Offered up, reportedly, Condoleezza Rice, the National Security Director. That wasn't sufficient. Well, so they never were able to get together on that.
I can't believe that Howard Kurtz thought that a tough question was, would you be willing to go into exile? I mean, that's just, I don't know how to even just respond to that, do you?
It didn't seem, watching it, that it was a terribly aggressive interview. But But you know, but Mr. Kurtz certainly...
Did he ask him any questions about anything? I mean, what did he ask him? Or challenge him on anything?
Well...
I mean, I understand you're in there and their deal and you're in the palace. You're
sure.
going to get out and all that, but...
Right.
I mean...
You don't want to be thrown into prison yourself and tortured?
First of all, the first question I would have asked him is, if everything is so great in this country and you're so beloved by all of the people, why are we hiding here in the palace? And why did we have to drive around for 3 hours before I could come here? And why do we need all of this? I mean, you know.
No, I understand. That would have been a good opening.
I mean, our president can fly all over the country, and he's got security, of course, but
of course
he can go up here wherever.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been my first question. If it was that, well, he was worried about, well, I don't know, being attacked by Americans.
I know, you can't even...
I mean,
can't even think about it.
I mean, that might have been the opening question, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, to draw that comparison of how an interview would have been set up at the White House and what you would have gone through there. You would have gone there, you would have cleared security, gone in and sat down and interviewed the president.
And they said, well, you Americans are trying to kill me, and I would have said, like you tried to assassinate President Bush. Is that, do you mean by that way, or how exactly do you mean? Well, it needed a season to train journalists without an agenda to ask these questions, not Dan Rather, because that's just.
It was not satisfying.
There aren't any excuses either. There's no excuse that under the circumstances they had to agree to all of these conditions. Well, that's fine. I understand all that, but don't put it on television then, or give the guy an hour of just because you're trying to get ratings. Give him an hour to portray himself as a Mother Teresa-like figure.
Yeah.
Just insane. 12 minutes after the hour. All right, here now, I'm Mr. Washington's Senior Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease, as you were. All right, maggots. Ready to administer what the Corps likes to call an old-fashioned Imus-in-the-morning ass-kicking?
Sir, yes, sir.
Ready to drop a little science on a certain swarthy Middle Eastern, mass-murdering, malignant, dictating despot?
Yes, sir. Gonna yank a few turbines like they was Iraqi lawnmower starters, sir. Troopers stand ready, sir.
Then I have some bad news.
Oh, no.
The road to Baghdad, boys.
Yes, sir.
The road to Baghdad doesn't exactly run, well, straight.
Well, hell yes, it does, sir. Right through London, France.
London, England, Private.
Yes, sir. And then through Paris, and then straight ahead on through Berlin or wherever, and then all of the rest of them steadfast, resolute, unswerving Western European allies of ours, till we get on to Baghdad and drop a A-bomb on them.
You mean E-bomb, Private? The new electronics disrupting device.
No, I mean A-bomb, General. The old existence disrupting device.
I like your thinking, Private. However, it isn't going to happen. Sad fact of the matter is, nothing may happen.
Nothing, sir? No hunk of burning burnous at all?
Precisely, Private, because we have just been told that the road to Baghdad runs through Bulgaria.
What the
What the indeed, Private. And it's a shame we have to beep that, because George Bush, Rumsfeld, Rice, Tommy Franks, and the whole rest of that cluster of a National Security Council can't get anybody on board with us to take down Saddam Hussein. So they've signed up, as God is my witness, Bulgaria.
Well, where the hell's Bulgaria, sir?
Yes, I was wondering if you could locate it for us on this map, Private.
Just about as fast as Stevie Wonder could, sir.
And therein lies our problem, boys.
With the coalition of the willing, sir?
Exactly. The coalition of the willing now embraces, by my count, a single individual in Great Britain,
Tony Blair,
and 5 countries whose total population is 750, and who, together, can contribute to the war cause one 1988 Mazda B2200 extended cab pickup truck with 217,000 miles on it.
We're dead, sir.
And not by any small measure, because if President Bush at any point is required to pronounce the name of the Bulgarian Prime Minister,
Simeon Saxko-Bergotsky,
he'll have to have his tongue surgically removed from his left nostril.
Could be worse, sir.
I fail to see how, Private.
Tom Brokaw might have to say it.
My God, Private, you're right. Stand by with the duct tape and plastic sheeting. We're going to alert condition red.
For chemical attack, sir?
Hell no. For Brokaw, Saxko-Bergotsky overspray.
Whole country looked like a Gallagher concert, General.
Poor bastard. First rather beats him to Saddam Hussein, and then the Prime Minister of our new #1 ally has 10 consonants and 5 syllables in his name. Serious consequences indeed, Private.
Fix paper towel, sir.
Thank you for your attention, lads. Sadly, stand by to surrender.
Nowadays, everybody want to talk, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. It's just a bunch of gibberish and mother act like Eminem ain't gay. Everybody forgot. What happened? What up, Dre?
Yeah.
It's all about Dre. It's all about Dre.
Compton's in the house.
Yeah, that's right. Compton is
Come
in the
here,
house.
hold on your panties, you little bitch.
All right, hold up, dog.
Yeah.
Go easy on me and rip my ass
Some
last
of
time.
this Compton.
Let me take off this white shirt so you can see my bird
Yeah,
chest.
you wanna be famous?
Uh-huh.
Spread that bitch.
All about Dre.
Yeah. Compton.
Dog, you hurt me, dog.
Detroit rapper, you little bitch.
You're ripping my ass, dog.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Wait, don't bust.
Come here.
Wait, dog.
Take all of this Compton.
Don't bust. Do it on my lip like a milk ass.
Yeah. Compton's in that ass.
It's all about
Yeah.
Dre. It's all about
You wanna
Dre.
be famous, you little bitch.
Man, don't tell Kim, dog, please. It's all
All right,
about
now
Dre.
get the out of here.
Imus in the morning.
Book a cruise now during the final days of Travelocity's biggest cruise sale ever.
For the Westchester BMW Fan Highway Patrol.
21 after the hour here on the Imus in the morning program. Here in line 3 is Wayne the trucker. Good morning, Wayne.
How you doing there, man?
I'm all right, babe. What's up?
I want to know if I could, maybe you can set me up with Janice there.
I'll let you talk to Janice yourself. Wayne, say hi to Janice. Janice, say hi to Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
How you doing, Janice?
I'm good.
I'm down here, I'm a truck driver. I'd like to, travel around the country a little bit.
Why don't you honk your horn for me?
Let me stay up Stay up that Hershey Highway.
Sounds like he's got practice.
Hey, Wayne, how about taking her to dinner before you try to drag her out on the road with you?
I got a microwave and everything in the truck. Truckers, we can't spend too much time in a diner, so we can just eat.
Perfect. It'll feel like I'm back in the trailer park.
Yeah. Next week I'm going down to Texas, so, never know what might happen down there.
No, I don't want to go back to Texas.
And then the following week I'm going back up to Canada.
Wow.
Maybe you could visit Mom. Sure. Take up a load of something. Take up a load of whatever. Mom's on this time.
Yeah, maybe we could take the mother with us, too.
Yeah. How old are you, Wayne?
What a dream date. I'm 40.
You're 40. You got any kids?
No.
Have you ever been married, Wayne?
No, I'm married now.
Oh, no, Wayne.
Talk that horn again, baby.
He's just looking to get laid.
Get off my phone, you jerk.
It's okay. Dennis is still in, by the way.
Great, I'm used to that. Rings, no rings.
Not a problem. Just worried about the microwaves, only concern. Coming up at 23 after the hour. Here at the Iverson Morning Program. Let me see. Friday, March 7th. Wednesday, April 2nd. Or Thursday, April 3rd.
Is that when, is that the first session at Durant or what?
No, the spring session at Durant's with the kids starts March 21st, in which I will be there.
Oh, okay.
Along with Mrs. Imus and Mr. Wyatt Imus. It's great. I get to holler at kids for 10 days. I just love it.
I know it makes you
And
feel
they don't,
very, very good.
They're sick children, so it's even better.
Yeah,
to holler at sick
absolutely.
children, I love it. No, Larry King is requesting I appear on his show again. And they're giving me 3 dates. March 7th, Wednesday, April 2nd, and Thursday, April 3rd.
Well, what difference does it make?
Yeah, well.
So you'll never do that interview?
Why even, what do you...
Shades of rather Saddam.
No, I didn't say...
What do you say?
Well, first of all, I don't have any intention of appearing on...
Of course, that's
but I didn't say that I would never appear on television again. I just simply said...
Yes, you did say you would never appear on television again.
I am not going to do it.
Do we have the tape?
I don't need to do it.
I don't
You're not... Wait a minute.
What?
Hold it.
You have to appear on Russert's show first.
Yeah.
You're not considering appearing on television again.
In December.
No, I'm not. Well, Russert's going to be on Monday. We'll discuss this with Russert.
No, yeah, but, well, I mean, why?
Discuss what?
Oh, God, thank heaven. I mean,
What about your word?
I was
Word is
frightened.
bond, yo.
No. Well, okay. He's Bernie. He has reaffirmed. That's it. I mean, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry
He's
to have
hedging.
doubted you.
He's not.
Excuse me.
He never made a
Waffling.
definitive statement that said he would never, ever,
What the hell
ever.
are you talking
No,
about?
what I said... Thank you, Sid.
You're welcome.
That's good. Now
What I
you're defending you.
What I said was...
What did you say?
If I could talk...
Talk.
Before I would appear on Russert's program, on his CNBC program...
Right.
Before, if I ever agreed to appear on television again...
That his would be the first.
That his would be the first. That's what I said.
But then you added to that, immediately after that, but I'm never going to appear
No, I don't
on
think I did.
television again.
I need to hear that on tape, then. That's not what I said.
Yeah.
Here's John from Connecticut on line 2. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How we doing?
Don't call John from Connecticut a scum, Charles.
I'm calling you. John from Connecticut is not a scum. You are. I'm sorry, John.
What's up, dog?
All right, here's what I'm thinking, all right? On the news the other day, they had this pill, okay? You can swallow this pill. It's got a camera in it, okay? Why couldn't Rather swallow something like with GPS system on it that would tell us right where Saddam is, and we'd know right where he was, at the time of the interview.
Oh.
Give us an idea of where one of his palaces were and where he might be hanging out.
You really need to be calling Sid.
Great idea.
You really need to be calling Sid and Jody for their discussion on the Rangers today. Here on line 1 is Linda from Philadelphia. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm right, babe.
Good. This proves Bernard Goldberg's point. The fact that Dan Rather would do this interview, the fact that Howard Kurtz would think there's nothing wrong with it,
There you go.
it boggles the mind.
It does.
Well, how about giving Howard Feynman some credit? He's part of the liberal elite news media from Newsweek magazine, for Christ's sake.
Well, that's true, but he was a little bit slimy about it too.
No, he wasn't.
Just a little bit. He walked
How was he?
a little bit.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I absolutely think he did. He would. First of all, he would never ever fail to criticize a little bit, because then it would just again prove the point. But he wasn't as tough as he should have been. That wasn't.
Where are you, in Philadelphia?
Pardon me?
Where are you, in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Thinking, where's our Einhorn when we need him? No, I'm just kidding. Linda, I'm just kidding. Linda, I'm just kidding.
Linda, I'm sorry.
You are not. And I love you so much.
Linda, I'm very sorry.
I love him, Linda.
I don't want to see you chopped up in a trunk.
It encourages him to say you love him. Don't do that.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do.
Get off
I feel
my
like
phone.
I feel like I'm
Now he's
standing
going to
with
yell at her.
Get off my phone.
I feel like I'm standing with the boys at the water cooler in the morning.
No, you're not.
I know who Kobe Bryant is now. I'm set.
No, you're. How about Insane Clown Posse? You know who they are now, too, don't you?
Eclectic.
You're probably ready to go to an Insane Clown Posse concert. Thanks, Linda. Here's Janice Dean with the Scum Report. Good morning, Janice.
I wanted to find out if Linda was single.
Why?
Jimmy Kimmel had those two Russian babes on, what do they call tattoo?
Oh, the lesbian twins.
Yeah. He had them on?
They had them on last
How were
night.
they? What were they?
Well,
Did they touch each other and all that stuff?
yeah, they're both cute.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Well, I guess they were going to kiss, but I had to go to sleep. I mean, at that point, it was 1:45 in the morning.
That's the first time I've ever heard a man say they were about to kiss, and then I had to go to
The
sleep.
show is over at 1, so at 1:45 before the kiss, you have to go to bed right there.
Yeah, I did. I turned it off and went to bed. I don't know what they did.
Wow.
Well, first of all, I have it on TiVo, so if I want to
watch
see
it
that
again, sure.
But I don't need to see that.
No, no.
How was Jimmy Kimmel last night?
I love Jimmy Kimmel, but I mean, I don't know if the show's going to make it.
How was the show, though? Was it
well,
still the full...
I don't know. His co-host this week is Don King.
Oh, really? That's got to be funny. Don's great.
A little bit of Don King is enough.
Yeah.
That wears on
Then he had some woman on. I don't know what her name was. I like Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, it's very unpolished, but maybe that's the way it's supposed to be.
Bruce Willis replaced Letterman last night and interviewed Dan Rather.
Oh, yeah.
Dan Rather. I remember telling you a year ago, when Leslie Stahl finally replaced him on 48 Hours because he was stiff as a board. He was embarrassing.
Yeah.
He's not good.
One time, my wife and I and my brother, we went out to Monument Valley with Dan Rather. We flew out on our plane.
Together. He was with you.
Yeah. And he did a 48-hour segment on...
When you had the book out.
The book out, Two Guys, Four Corners. And I remember several people who I don't know all that well, but out in that area told me that the guy, he said they just took me aside and said, this guy's a phony. And
really?
Oh,
wow.
One of them was one of the Navajos there, who was particularly offended when we walked in the office at Goulding's, and these couple of Indian guys I've known for years were sitting there, and Rather says, "Hi, Chief, how you doing?" That sounds God.
Hey, Hoss. Say hi to the paleface.
I mean, it's just...
How? Man, oh, man. Smoke any peace pipes? Smoke any peace pipe lately? You guys drunk?
No, I mean, we used to have Rather on, and I used to, but I mean, enough is enough. I'm just, you know, I mean, it's just...
last night was...
That should have been a career ender last night. I mean, for Howard Kurtz, and I like Howard Kurtz, and it troubles me because I'm not patronizing to Howard Kurtz, but I do respect the guy. I mean, he
humiliated himself.
But he really was foolish.
Sounded idiot.
And that was just disgraceful.
Yeah. The last time anybody liked Dan Rather was when he was on Letterman after the 9/11 disaster. And he really was, I think, sincere and genuine in his emotion on that show. I thought that was a relatively impressive performance. Before that and after that, he's done nothing.
Yes, it was an impressive performance. You're right about that.
I got up early this morning so I could walk the floor. I got to hit the street 'cause there's a whoop outside my door. The bill collector's calling and my kids need better shoes. Gonna go to church on Sunday.
Parliament has to pass the measure before it becomes law. But internal dissent inside the ruling Justice and Development
was bombed this morning.
Delayed a decision for weeks. Yesterday, Secretary of State Colin Powell spoke by phone with Turkish Prime promised Powell that a vote would take place by the end of this week. Guy Raz, NPR News, Ankara.
Members of the UN Security Council.
You gonna go to Mohegan Sun? Exit 79A, Interstate 395 there in Uncasville, Connecticut. They're talking with each other about who we could get to weigh in on the Rather thing, that we could get an honest opinion from. And I said, Brokaw would tell me what he thought off the air.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't let me quote him, so what's the point? But I already know what Brokaw thought without asking him. I haven't spoken with him, but I just know. Same with the rest of it, but they're just... those guys are not going to criticize.
Well, no, they're just not in a position to...
For whatever reason.
To offer an opinion one way.
Here's Robert on line 1 from Durham, North Carolina. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, man.
What's up, dog?
Well, if last night wasn't disgraceful enough, CBS is running a promo about tonight's newscast, and they're going to replay parts of the interview and talk about the relevancy of it.
Well, I mean...
Unbelievable.
You can't make it up, can you?
No.
Mighty.
It's disgraceful.
Now, I'm willing to cut people slack, and I'm a little probably more liberal than you are, but I mean, it's just, I was mortified. I really was just mortified. I was embarrassed.
The only thing that I thought was good was when he said something about a debate. Rather said something to the effect like, "You're kidding," or "Are you serious?" That was a highlight of it to me. The rest of it was just tough.
But at that point, they should have dropped the debate discussion, incidentally. But then to go on and devote 4 or 5 or 6 minutes, whatever, how many minutes it was, to trying to establish what the parameters for a debate would be, and how it would be done, and on whether it was on satellite, and whose studio they'd be in, and would he come to the UN? I mean, it was laughable. I mean, it's to seriously entertain the idea that this world-class murdering thug would debate the president of the United States about anything is
Did anybody even begin to give him time for anything? It's just unbelievable.
It's insane. All right, Robert, thanks. It's 23 till the hour here on the Imus in the morning program. And so anyway, as Charles and I were talking about who we could get to get a, in the media, who we know, people who we appear on this program. Well, Frank Rich probably would weigh in.
Yeah. Get an honest opinion.
I mean, I'm not looking for somebody to agree with us.
No, not at all.
At all, but
just an honest opinion.
I just was surprised at Howard Kurtz. Why are you laughing? I am looking for somebody to agree with.
It's just, it seems like it's Howard Kurtz had an honest disagreement, and
well, I just want to. You see,
I wouldn't call it a disgrace if he just disagrees, but
I don't think I'd say I didn't say that about Howard Kurtz.
Did you not say that in the last?
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it was a disgrace that Howard Kurtz disagreed. I said that I had enormous respect for him. There's a media critic of the Washington Post, and I do think it was an honest recitation of his view, I guess. Well, yes, I do think that.
Yeah, a view with which you disagree. That's all.
Right. But I'm not discrediting Howard Kurtz. But I can't believe that there's anyone else who thinks that way, who is media savvy and has some sort of profile.
Well, you had Howard Feynman agreed with the I-Man, 100%. So it's not too out of the realm to think that somebody else would.
Well, I'm not looking for someone to agree with me. I'm looking for someone to introduce some reality into the equation here.
How about Hofi? Did he not do that?
How about who?
Howard Feynman.
Yes. But we were just thinking of someone else.
He's apparently he's not. You're looking for somebody with more gravitas.
No.
How about Hofi? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
How about Hofi?
My boy.
Line 5 is Hofi.
That's what we call Howard Feynman now, Hofi?
Hofi from the hood.
How about Hofi?
Hojo Hofi.
Hofi had his.
No, just someone else of equal stature.
Yeah, that's all. Just we want more people.
I just wonder if there's anybody else who would be honest.
You want to,
as both Mr. Kurtz were and Mr. Feynman, who were both honest. Do we know anybody else? Can you name anybody else who would be?
Tim Russert, Chris Matthews, absolutely. Any number of them. Tom Brokaw.
I don't think Russert would criticize Rather.
Wait a second.
I don't.
Just not in a position.
This is an issue of life and death, of treason.
I understand.
These guys, not now, then when? Speak your mind.
No. I just think it's part of their code that they just something they don't do. But how about Lou Dobbs?
Lou Dobbs, no question, would speak his mind.
He would?
Absolutely.
Get him on the phone.
Right away.
Here's Jerry from Staten Island on line 3, 2, or somewhere. Morning, Jerry.
Yeah, I have a solution for you for the Middle East.
All right.
You take all the Jews from Israel and move them to Cuba. Take all the Cubans and move them to Israel. They'll be happy with the Arabs, and the Jews will be 90 miles from the real Holy Land, Miami Beach.
Jerry Kissinger.
And now, the continuing adventures of Iraqi and Bullwinkle. When we last left Moose and Saddam, they were attempting to rid themselves of pesky United Nations weapons inspector Hans Blunts.
Look, Ma, no Hans.
As we join our stalwart heroes this week, Saddam prepares to be interviewed by an American television anchorman.
Hey, Iraqi, check out this camouflage tuxedo I got on sale at the Wacky Khaki outlet.
Why are you getting so dressed up, Bullwinkle?
I want to look good for my TV appearance.
But you are not being interviewed. I am.
Oh, who's doing it?
I.D. Rather of VS Television Network.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
I am asking President George M. Bush to debate me.
Well, he's been baiting you for so long, it's about time he debated you.
I am sure he will not comply.
Because you will outshine him on a moral and ideological level.
No, because I am speaking English better than him.
Why did you choose rather than Tom Brokaw or Peter General?
Because he has interviewed me before, many years ago, after I invaded Kuwait and Sea. And because I want to throw him ratings bone. His network is at disadvantage with a puerile and torpid reality series programming.
And
because he is only American American newsman who is crazier than me.
Hey, I want to be on American television.
Well, then you must find yourself interviewer who is sympathetic to your cause.
Like Rosie O'B.
Lesbian talk show hostess is not good choice.
Why not? I heard her tell Phil Donahue she thinks war is bad.
Two of you together on screen, too confusing for audience.
Oh, I guess you're right. Rug merchant being interviewed by Rug Muncher.
No, too difficult to tell which one is real moose.
A liberated Iraq can show the power of freedom to transform that vital region by bringing hope and progress into the lives of millions.
Bitch boy, motherfucker. You might have some 11-year-old groupies believing your but you ain't fooling nobody, bitch. Radio. You a motherfucking bitch. Suck my You ain't never shot at us with no paintball. Bitch, weak ass. Yo, bro, you ever chased anybody out of was a gay bar, bitch? That little radio with your preppy smile. Got everybody hopping out of 35 miles telling us we fake little faggot. Bet I'ma knock your teeth out the back of your neck. You might have little girls crying and but the Detroit thugs ain't buying your No, run your ass back to jack the drain, open your butt. Little creepy ass boy, get Sissy ass radio bitch. Oh, pick it up, dog. Who put us on the map? 3 black, 2 gold, and we still like that. We did it alone without a D.R. Buddy, don't you and touch your butt like a husband. Tell me where she at. Everybody be that bitch. You don't see that? You told the world you're gonna kill the slut. Then you watch TV licking her butt. Eminem ain't nothing but a bitch. Eminem ain't nothing but a bitch. I remember your ass St. Andrew's Hall handing out your flyers.
Someone, come on, come to my show.
I looked at it. What? Right there. St. Clown Posse might show. I could have just you up right there, but I let it pass. I felt bad for your bitch ass. Every time I met you, you're sucking. Now you're on the pop chart sucking. You'll be sucking for eternity. Look at your mouth. It looks like a... Top 40 pussy rap bitch. Mainstream pretty boy bitch. Sucker ass mother... Hitler ass haircut. Bitch ass mother... Boy band ass. Top 40 Casey Kasem, Carson Daly Dixon.
Imus in the morning.
Musicians,
mileage. Get to AutoZone where STP air filters start at just $2.99. Get in the zone. AutoZone. I'm Lori McNichol for the Westchester BMW Fan Highway Patrol.
11 till the hour here in the Imus Morning program, and time for sports. And with that, here's Sid Rosenberg. Morning, Sid.
Good morning, I'm Andy. Back of today's New York Post says Wells on 98 perfect game. I was half drunk, and you see Wells on the shoulder of a bunch of his teammates, including, ironically enough, Dallas Strawberry, and it says smashed. To me, it's not much of a story because I was under the impression that David Wells has pitched most of his career with a hangover. But when you think about it, this. David Wells says, I threw this game and I was half drunk. Kind of like Mickey Mantle. Wasn't Mickey Mantle drunk almost his whole career, or at least dealing with a hangover?
I don't know. Well, his favorite inning was always what, the bottom of the 5th? And Billy Martin?
Billy Martin, another guy?
Yeah.
Joe Torre said that Don Larson had been out real late the night before he pitched his perfect game in the World Series.
Yeah.
So all these guys, all these drunks, that turned out to be, great players.
Look at the I-Man. He did some of his best shows.
Right. So what is the moral of the story?
That's not true.
What is the moral of the story?
Calling up Eagles, Howard Fineman.
I didn't do any good shows in those days.
Come on, you ripped down the Korean or the Russian
I
flag.
wasn't drunk.
You weren't?
Oh.
Chuck, can't make it up, Chuck. I don't know.
Shut up, Larry, you little jerk.
I think the moral of the story is that
you're
drinking
an idiot.
pays. Why?
I don't know. You just said David Wells is beyond a moron. Oh, my God, he's stupid.
He's trailer trash.
He really is.
He was just white trash nitwit.
He is.
Fat mouth who let a midget punch his teeth out.
He did. He got knocked. Rocky beat him up pretty good in that diner that day.
Kicked his ass. Took him like a red-headed stepchild.
Yeah.
That's it. He hit under the table.
And then Wells wanted him to go to jail for a long time. He was complaining to the judge. It's not enough. It's not enough. You're a baseball player. Why would you want this guy to go to jail in the first place? It's humiliating.
Yes.
That's David Wells for you.
Yep.
Half drunk when he pitched the perfect game in 1998.
Great.
Fine.
Nets last night blew out the Knickerbockers. Beat them by 29
Great
points.
example for kids who do.
For our youth of today.
I go if there are any who.
How about his own son?
I think more of them are idolize people like the Insane Clown Posse than they do.
Well, I think
David Wells, appropriately so.
I think so.
All right, go
Well,
on.
I mean, how many guys in sports right now could you really say that you could look up to in any sport?
That's zero.
I mean, pick football, baseball, basketball. I mean,
Well, I don't even know that's. I think I agree with Charles Barkley on that one.
Jason Kidd, for example.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Jason Kidd?
I mean, can you look up to a guy who smacks his wife?
First of all,
smacks the crap out of his wife?
Hold on a second. When you say smacks, you're making it sound plural. As far as I know, there was one altercation in
that
Jason's
we know
house.
about. You think that's all the only time it ever happened? Oh,
Jumana's a beautiful lady. Why would you stick with him?
You're a naive slap.
I know,
because abused women do all the time.
No.
Abused women wind up thinking it was their fault.
You're right about that.
They think it's something. No, that's an argument you don't
No, you're right about that. But Jason Kidd is not like that. He's a good guy.
I don't think this woman would stay, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at her, man.
Okay, well, fine.
Look, now she's on TV as a result of sticking with Jason Kidd. You got to pay your dues.
What's she doing on TV?
Well, she's first of all, she's gorgeous. Second of all, she's very bright. And she's got television experience, so she's going to do more and more TV stuff.
In fact, she's going to be Tyson's sparring partner, I understand.
That'll be fine. What else going on? Come on.
Bring her over here now. I got her. Bring her over here.
NBA last night, I told you the Nets beat up on the Knicks, beat them by 29 points. An embarrassing effort. And Bernie wanted to hear this all day, so I've got it for you.
Wait a second. It bears airing, that's all. Not if Bernie wanted to hear it. I heard it yesterday.
And did I disagree that it should be played?
Let me hear it.
Yeah, let the
I-Man hear it.
I wanted to hear it.
Laying it on me.
No, I'm not blaming it on you because I think you're right about it, Bernie. This is Francesa talking to Byron Scott, the coach of the Nets, about Latrell Sprewell.
Okay. Here we go.
Well?
Oh, I thought you had it. I don't have it. My fault. Sorry. I thought Lewis had it.
You didn't tell me.
He's got it. So he's bringing up on one side.
I'm telling him about it.
Oh, I thought I did. I thought I told you. I'm sorry, Lou. My fault. I thought I did.
Yeah, this one I'll give is your fault.
Great radio, huh, folks? 7 minutes till the hour here.
I'm sorry, Lou. I thought you had it.
You had it.
I don't have it.
That's Morris in there trying to find it.
I got it.
This is great. Do you have it?
Yes.
Want to hear it?
Let me ask you this, because I don't know the reason. What precipitated the comments about Sprewell last week anyway? Did someone? I mean, where did it come from?
I don't know the reporter's name, Mike. But it was a room for the reporters asking questions.
Right.
And like I said, I answered the questions, and just like the Ron Artest thing, it was a lot of things are taken out of content.
What do you think?
Well, I know what he meant.
So did I.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's no big deal.
How you like my suit? It costed me a lot of money.
That's just enough. In case you were asking. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, how many times do I misspeak myself, by the way?
We're all in
Come on, kidding?
We're all in agreement about that.
Can you duplicate that statement there, Byron?
Is Fred going to come on tomorrow and talk about the big Las Vegas race coming up this weekend?
I would assume, yeah.
I'll say this.
And then you'll ask where it is.
Fred, the Las Vegas race tomorrow.
Where is that?
That's what Zell Miller should be protesting against Fred Imus.
I got a question for Fred. I guarantee you he does not know the answer for.
Okay, well.
I don't think anybody knows the answer for it. Right now, who is the points leader in the Winston Cup standings?
That's somebody you never heard of.
No, you heard of him.
Yeah,
Really?
but he's not a big driver.
No, it's not. You're right. It's not Jeff Gordon. It's not.
I don't know who is it.
It's Kurt Busch.
Oh, well, he's a pretty good driver.
Yeah, he is a pretty good driver, but
Wait a second. Dick Trickle, Kurt Busch. Is this some kind of a joke?
Well, I gotta get drunk and I sure do dread it, cause I know just what I'm gonna do. Start spending my money, call everybody honey, and wind up singing the blues. I spend my whole paycheck on some old wreck, and brother, I can name you a few. Well, I gotta get drunk and I sure do dread it, cause I know just what I'm gonna do.
Well, I gotta get drunk, Lord. I can't stay sober. There's a lot of good people in town. They love to hear me holler, see me spend my dollars. I wouldn't think of letting them down. Well, there's a lot of good doctors keep telling me, George, you better start slowing it down.
But there's more old drunks than there are old doctors, so I guess we better have another round. Imus in the morning.
If you've been waiting for the right entertainment, the only station with two-way telephone sports talk all day and all night is your flagship station for Imus in the morning and Mike and the Mad Dog in the afternoon. The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 10 o'clock. This is John Binko.